Hello, Freedom Guy 55 here again, and welcome to the problem with the problem of evil part 2. I never expected to do a part 2 of this, but anyway, basically I'm going to make a little bit of an argument here. I don't know if you would agree, it's fine. It's just my thoughts on the subject, okay? But I think that the problem of evil has pretty much outlived its usefulness. I do think that it is you can still make it in some ways a logical argument, but the problem is that it becomes a very moot point with people who are religious and all this. As I mentioned, and it's for a few points. I mean, it would just not work, and it becomes just not useful to use it, and for a few reasons. And let me say, like I mentioned before, one of the reasons, there are about 3 reasons, I think. One of the reasons happens to be the reason I made before, which is that people get over obsessive about the evil or about the whatever, I mean, evil doesn't really exist, as we know, okay? I mean, it doesn't. But basically evil, what people personify evil as being from their own perspective, things that they wind up things that they feel destroy the things that they see that they value, mainly. Is usually, I think, what we would call evil, maybe. I don't know. But anyway, the problem with this, though, is the fact that evil itself does make individuals desire and want to believe in God. I mean, want to believe in that sense of a system working in whatever. They want to believe that a system needs to work or whatnot. Because it's just really difficult to deal with the reality of just having things that hurt their feelings and having things, and what we personify as being evil does that. It hurts to whatever things that we wind up valuing. Get destroyed when things that we wind up valuing get destroyed or get hurt or get damaged or whatever. The other thing is, that's usually, I think that's what we personify the evil to be, as I said. The second thing happens to be that we've made the problem of evil much more of an emotional issue than a logical one, pretty much out there. I mean, when we wind up talking about the problem of evil, it actually doesn't come into a logical discourse with most individuals. And it just gets seen by, I think, religious people as more of a kind of forcing, like saying, see, look at all the evil that is happening within this world. And most people wind up stating that. I mean, individuals who don't wind up believing in God wind up just like throwing down, some sort of thing to say, see, I love, like saying, I love these people, and then, they were taken away from me, my, wife and kid or whatnot, blah, 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 blah. I mean, we wind up pressing this kind of emotion about the evils that have happened within our world or within us or within people that we wind up seeing, that destroy our concept of value or whatever. And we wind up pressing that upon other people or even on the religious person to not have them, to actually get them to question their belief of God, which seems to be more of a force feeding of emotions down their throat than it seems to be a logical discourse anymore. So it doesn't seem that we're actually approaching this through that process of logic anymore. We wind up, or through the process of that, through the problem of evil. I mean, we don't use it through the philosophical juncture anymore. We wind up using it through, I'm just going to say logical. I don't know if that's what it means, whatever, but it doesn't really become the logical discourse, that we wind up using, which is, the omnipresent or whatever. We just wind up going up to people and saying, what about the evil in the world? What about all this? And kind of force feed it down the individual's throats and try to get them to think about it, when evil itself is what basically made them to want to believe in God in the first place, because they couldn't deal with reality in the first place. So they just wind up looking at you saying that you couldn't deal with the evil, that you just have to believe in God. So I guess it's just because it becomes so much of an emotional issue, the problem of evil just becomes mute at that point in addressing it to religious individuals. Third one happens to be that I think all of us, no matter who we are, we see things that are usually evil out of the world. Well, evil doesn't exist. I'm using evil as an example for whatever we kind of feel destroys the values that we like. Okay, that's what I think we classify as evil, as I mentioned before. Now, when we wind up seeing evil, we wind up seeming to have a tendency to want or desire some sort of regulation, order, or whatnot, kind of a godlike presence. Whether or not we allow ourselves to be the god, like, having private property and getting people not to come upon their land, or I'll shoot you, that kind of thing, becoming, the god of our own property to have regulation and order around it, or to people who basically, believe in a state, who want this kind of state, godlike presence over, other people and whatnot. So basically, it becomes, in a sense, a little hypocritical. We have a tendency, all of us, to want or desire a sense of a godlike order out of the evils that we wind up seeing. So at that point, it becomes hypocritical to people. So they can call you out on that sense for anybody who is more intelligent and whatnot. So, in a sense, religious individuals will look at you as being a hypocrite. They'll look at you as being a force feeder of emotions down, of experiences down people's throat, because it's an emotional issue now. And that I think that we've said the piece about we said the piece on its logical discourse and said it. I mean, we've already done it. We've already talked about it. It's done. So I think that it becomes mute in talking to religious people about the problem of evil today. And I don't think that it'll work. I really don't think it works at all. So I think it has just outlived its usefulness. It might have been useful at a time, but I don't think it's useful now. It might be useful in the future when people probably may get more logical, but, doubtful. Or when people can, communicate this stuff, rationally, but I doubt it. So, in a sense, I think it's long gone. And it's sad to see it go, but I do believe that it just needs to go. Anyway, that's it. That's my thoughts on the subject. I put an argument, I guess a little bit of an argument forth. I don't know whether or not you like it or not. But that's all. And I thank you for your time, and have a nice day.